Yo, y'all know I'm only going to interview people that take my mind away from chronic illness and physical limitations. Check out who I got for you this week. Swinging and banging on the ones and twos. Allow me to reintroduce myself to you. I'm Kendrick, your professor of gratitude, because all I'm ever going to do is remind y'all that the difference between being grateful and showing gratitude. On today, on this fantastic day, we are interviewing somebody I have met on Clubhouse. We're interviewing somebody who I consider to be one of the virtual community organizers that you've got to keep your eye on. And I don't want to say too much and let her introduce herself, so I will be quiet. Jennifer, please introduce yourself and tell these good people how we met.
Hey Kendrick, it is such a pleasure to be here today. First of all, it's such an honor to be on your podcast with you. And yes, we met on Clubhouse in one of those spaces where I remember hearing you speak for the first time and hearing your story and how inspiring and empowering you were. And I really felt that we had a connection in our stories and how much that we are going through, each of us, and how we are overcoming with resilience and really trying to beat those things that we're going through. So it was really a pleasure just meeting you on Clubhouse. And for me, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jennifer. I'm a health and wellness and beauty entrepreneur. I'm also a global summit producer and speaker. So I produce a lot of large events and summits. I'm also an author of 4 children's books. And I'm also the host of the Simply Real podcast. And I do a lot of other things. And more importantly, I am a Parkinson's warrior and advocate. So when I was diagnosed with Parkinson's, that's how, my story and Kendrick, your story, it just sort of aligned the stars. And I feel like every time we hear each other speak, we just kind of understand what we're going through because it's very similar in its storylines, right?
Yeah, it's super duper similar, especially with the fact of how we have to deal with other people. When I say other people, I mean those with the chronic illness. I mean those that don't have a chronic illness, how you have to deal with your family. I feel like we're aligned in so many ways, and I look up to how you deal with a few things in particular. So before I even get too deep, I gotta let the world know how it was just the other day that we were in the Clubhouse room, and I was felt really empowered, and I was really awesome. And I was really stuck about this room I had just been into, where I had met a bunch of men with multiple sclerosis, my same illness, and I felt like it was so gung ho, it was so manly. I had never been around energy like that, and I loved it. And at the same time, there were pieces of it, of course, that I disagreed with. I didn't like how much the other 4 who have medication look down and talk bad on what I do and everything because I don't have because I don't do Western medication. So they look bad on the mindset. They trash talk the gratitude journal. They didn't believe the whole thing about putting your mindset over. They just
Right.
didn't believe in any of that. And somebody came into your room and they questioned both of our and they offered advice as to how the 2 of us, one of us with Parkinson's and one of us with this primary progressive multiple sclerosis, they offered their advice on how we should do things to handle it. And the way you handled that, Queen, oh man, I mean, you handled it so well. And I actually took notes on it, like, oh, that's how you handle people that are trying to tell you some shit about how to handle things. So, 1,000 thank yous, Queen Jennifer. I sincerely appreciated that. I have not been back to to that room yet, but when I do, I feel so much better equipped and so much more cool about when I go back what I'm going to hear. So, 1,000 thank yous for that.
Of course. And you see that's a thing. Always going to have their own opinion of how you should handle something, of the route you should go down, the path that you should follow. But here's the thing, only you know what's in your heart. Only you know what you need to follow for yourself. And sometimes it's about blocking everybody else out and letting them know, okay, we appreciate your opinion. We respect your opinion and we understand it. But at the same time, this is my life and this is the way that I need to live it for myself. And the path that I choose is what's right for me and in that moment. And sometimes it's just about being aware of other people's opinions and what they think and putting that into perspective almost, but really just kind of changing the mind frame of how you respond to the situation. I mean, I come across people all day long on Clubhouse who I may not always agree with, but it's really about switching that mind frame and changing your perspective to say, okay, maybe I don't agree, but you know what, we can agree to disagree and we can go our separate ways.
I like that. I like that. I like that so much. especially because you brought up people that don't agree with. And we were talking previously. Is there any family in your life, close family members, that don't agree with how you treat your condition?
Well, I know what I will have to say. I'm pretty blessed with my family that they are always on my side and they support every step of the way. When I started off, when I was first diagnosed, I fought without, making sure I had the holistic approach, which I am still doing, obviously. And I think they've always 100% behind me. My family's always researching of new things that can really help. They're always looking up new areas. They're always looking up new clinical trials. They're always looking at holistic approaches. I mean, my family, I have to say, is really blessed in that area. My sisters are in the medical field. So one's an occupational therapist and the other one's a physician assistant. So they are in the medical field. So they do have that little bit more of that medical background where they probably don't believe too much in the allopathic care side of things. But I always take their opinions with a grain of salt, and I respect them. They're my sisters, and I value what they say. But again, that goes back to whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's people on Clubhouse. At the end of the day, Kendrick, we each have to live our own lives and we have to find our own path. So family can be there, family can tell you what they want, but I'm the one going through it, you're the one going through it. So we each have to figure out that path that's right for us, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Since we are the ones going through it, and whoever has these conditions are the ones going through it, you got to make yourself a priority. So you can listen to whatever you want to listen to, but it's upon you to act on whatever you have actually heard. So
Exactly.
yeah, I super duper dig that. And see, that's the reason why I follow you and I call you one of the super moderators on Clubhouse. It's that kind of advice, that even killed advice that always calms me down. Cause I don't know if you understand, Queen, but yo, your boy gets way up. Like even my down is still kind of up.
Right.
So just your energy, the way you can put things so evenly put, the way you can just has a calming effect even for me. I appreciate you on Club. I told you earlier I appreciate you for that. You even now you're doing it. Just the way that you're responding to questions helps me to slow down what I'm asking so I don't stutter as much and everything else.
Oh, I appreciate you. And
Love
it's
for
really
that,
about
Queen.
that moment of awareness for yourself too. That's why it's always important to put your energy with good people. 'Cause the people who have that good energy and vibration can actually help you upbring your own energy and vibration. So it's always so good to keep yourself around good networks of people. Even on Clubhouse, Kendrick, you got to be careful with those rooms you're going into and making sure that you are getting that good energy, getting the positive feedback, because what you put into yourself is what you put back out into the universe, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I've had to learn the hard way with Clubhouse with that because I started out on Clubhouse and I had to be in a certain room just to go to sleep at night. I mean, it was so bad. And I've calmed down quite a bit over the past few months to where I'm nowhere near as addicted to it as I once was.
Right.
But what you speak of watching the energy and everything and the people that you're around, being in those rooms, even though it's just audio, if you're in those rooms and all they're doing is trash talking to each other and they're talking about whatever cultural thing is going on right now, whatever hot topic is going on right now, that actually does disturb your soul. And
Yeah.
whenever you are stuck in the wheelchair and you don't get outside as much anyway and you don't get around as many people, if that's what you're hearing a lot, oh snap, that affects the way you parent, that affects the way that you talk to your spouse, that affects the way you talk to yourself, because even talking to yourself becomes a whole, God dog, man. Kanye West, oh my God, I can't believe he and Kim are still arguing over that doggone tape. And then next thing you know, it's been an hour and a half. You done looked it up online real quick. You haven't done anything that you were supposed to do. Oh man, yeah. Yeah,
Sidetrack.
it's
I know.
just like that. It's just like that. Okay, whenever we're talking about Clubhouse, I know from Clubhouse and I know from your profiles, you are doing, is this your third time doing this virtual event where you doing something with the energy of people and bringing people together?
It's Friday. Hey! Yeah, I'm tripping, man. I'm not a Leo. Nope. For real, though, y'all need to get your water in. Remember, half your body weight in water is what is best. If you weigh 100 pounds, you need about 50 ounces. If you weigh 200 pounds, you need about 100 ounces. And it goes like that. Half your body weight in water. I'm out.
Yes, this is my third annual Global Healing Motivational Summit. So the first year that I did it was actually the first year of me accepting and becoming okay with being diagnosed with Parkinson's. And once I became accepting of that, not surrendering to the disease, but accepting it in my heart so that way I could begin my healing journey, I decided to bring together some health professionals from the community to help advocate and really just teach people about health prevention and awareness, and not to wait until you are diagnosed with a chronic illness to stay healthy. What can you do for yourself before that, you know? And it was about motivation and empowerment and really overcoming and building that resiliency to know that we could really achieve our dreams. And so the first year I did it, it was about 30 speakers that I pre-recorded all the sessions. Yeah, that was the first one. And then last year I brought it onto Clubhouse and I had over 75 speakers and performers just by collaborating with so many great people. So this is my third annual one this year. This is the biggest event that I have, but I do a lot of smaller events throughout the year as well. I did a holiday healing motivational summit as well. And really, it's all about bringing people together from all walks of life globally to really help inspire and empower the community, to let them know that, you know what, I'm walking your path. I feel your fears. I cry the same way. I scream the same way. I feel what you're feeling. I feel that sadness. I feel that hopelessness. And I understand how it is. And because I think society sometimes, you know, we sugarcoat things and we want everybody to stay empowered. We want people to stay positive. But you know what? Life isn't always about rainbows and unicorns. You know, there are the bad things that happen as well. And we have to be acknowledging of that. So that's why I brought these people together who have these stories of inspiration, who have these real life stories that can say, I've walked this path. This is what's happened to me. I understand you. You know what? Together as a community, we can overcome. Tomorrow will be another day. Tomorrow will be another day for you to see something positive in your life. And that's what it's really all about, because I needed that motivation and I want to pass that on to somebody else. So yeah, just to answer your question, this is the third annual summit and I'm just really proud to be able to do this again.
Man, that's it right there. And see, stuff like that is why I feel like we're aligned so much. Because even one of my big statements, you just said that you wanted something like that, and that's what got you started doing this. Right. I feel like that's the same way. The reason why I do this gratitude journal is because I wanted so badly to see or have somebody around me that was just like strong and had this illness that I could look up to, and I couldn't find that. So I have to become that person my damn self. And that's what the gratitude journal is doing for me. It keeps me in the inward and the internal type of way, that same thing that you're talking about right there with the Clubhouse. Right. With your virtual events, is there any in the past, is there any particular type of performance or speaker that comes immediately to mind and makes you go, yeah, this one speaker, this one performance?
I mean, they were all dynamic, amazing performances. They really were. But if I had to choose one, I think I would probably say Gershom Allen was amazing. He's known as Dr. G, the Love Motivator on Clubhouse. And I remember he closed out the summit on the third day, because it's a 3-day live streaming summit. Last year, he closed out the summit. He was the last speaker to perform. And wow, did he give a fantastic presentation. When I tell you, he uplifted, he motivated, he inspired, and he spoke his heart. And Gershom has been through a lot of stuff in his own life as well. And I remember his talk just being so impactful to the community. But you know what? I think everybody has their way of impacting the community too, because everyone's story is going to hit someone a different way. We're going to listen to someone's story and say, oh, I understand where they're coming from. I resonate with that. And somebody else may resonate with somebody else. So it really just is all about aligning those beautiful inspirational stories together. And I think every one of those speakers was dynamic, phenomenal, and inspirational. And that's the thing, that's the key, Kendrick. I want people to know that you don't have to have the perfect story to become a speaker at this summit. You don't have to be the perfect person to even tell your story. It's just about speaking from your heart. It's just about being truthful, authentic, and genuine. And that's exactly what each speaker has done. So
I like that. I like that too. I met Ashton Smith in your room last week. Yes. The 4-time Olympic gymnast for the Special Olympics. She was on my podcast this past weekend.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
snap. She was awesome on my podcast. Wow, it was a great interview. I loved her energy.
Yeah, she has a dynamic energy. I know she has a phenomenal story as well. And I am hoping to be able to to assist her with coming onto the summit. And I know she wants to be a speaker. And I really look forward to having her because she's really going to send so much vibrational energies throughout that summit if she comes on. So I look forward to that. But she's dynamic. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, she's strong with that story, man. She is super duper strong with this story. What actually brought you to Clubhouse? So for me, it was people. I had two friends that kept telling me about this, kept telling me about Clubhouse, and I kept saying, no. Then my wife and some other people started telling me about Kendrick. You need to get on. You need to get on Clubhouse because you talk so much. No, I don't even jam that. No. And when I finally did, I haven't gotten off since.
Right.
What brought you to Clubhouse?
Honestly, I think a friend introduced me and she was the one that sent me the invitation to get onto Clubhouse. And then I just kept hearing people were saying it's a great networking opportunity. It's a great way to build your business. I didn't realize that it was going to turn into something more so where I was going to get the healing sensations that I needed for the Parkinson's or meet such a great group of people like yourself. I had no idea that was part of Clubhouse. Honestly, I just thought it was strictly for networking and business opportunities, which it has been an enormous opportunity for that. But now it's turned into just so many great people on there who've become more than friends and family. And they're just wonderful people who I want to make sure that we keep in touch because we support each other, not just on Clubhouse, Clubhouse. And
yes,
it's like a true community when you meet the right people. And we really are gathering together to help each other encourage healing, to promote that good vibrational energy. So when I first got on, I didn't realize the value and what was going to happen on Clubhouse. And now I obviously see that. But what I will say is that, I think you just have to use Clubhouse the way that you feel is right for your energy and for your family as well, because not everybody can be on Clubhouse all the time. I think we have to balance our time properly as well. But I think it's a great avenue and a great tool, especially for people like us who are dealing with some issues and we sometimes want to hear from other people in the community.
I dig that. Yeah, exactly. I dig that. I've already written about your upcoming virtual event in my gratitude journal. When you speak of your virtual event, everything attached to right below this podcast, so people can see exactly how to get to it, how to register, how to try to be a speaker, how to buy tickets. All your contact information will be there as well. So I want you to know that I'm going to put all that right there available.
Oh, that's
Is
awesome.
there a specific message that you want to send?
More than it being the event, my message is that we can always make the impossible possible. And we are just like, I always say that our minds are like the ocean. It can be rough and it can be rocky, but at its depths, our minds can be still and beautiful. We just have to dig deep down into those depths and pull out the gems and let our gems shine. We all have the ability to let our gems shine really beautifully. And I know that we have those hard days that it seems like, we can't get out of bed, we can't do this, we can't do that, but we have to keep on striving for the best life that we want to live. We can always create the best life for ourselves. We just have to believe in ourselves. We have to believe in the people around us. And we have to know that we can really have the ability to just recreate the story of our outcome. So it's really about just having that faith, having that hope, and being dynamic in every moment, experiencing every moment for what it is. Enjoy the laughter, enjoy the cries, enjoy the tears. I know it sounds weird, but you know what? It's about being humble in every moment of our journey and understanding that where you are in your journey is where you belong and you will get to where you're supposed to be one day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It is all about taking things and accepting them right where you are right then, right there. So there is no trying to force things on you. When you're ready for it, let it come to you, be on it the way you need to. Of course I like that. Okay, so anything that just
we're going to get ready to start
mind
closing things
of
out.
those three. I've got to ask you because I ask everybody these last two questions. Question number one, what is in your head right now when I talk of either music, watching, or what you are reading? So the book, whatever you're watching, or what you are listening to.
Contractures are a real issue when you are bound to your wheelchair. That feeling and knowing you cannot separate your legs or your knees can completely destroy your day. So what I do is keep a pillow between my knees on those hard days. Small, medium, large, I got all different sizes of pillows, but I keep those between my legs to deal with the contractures.
So music, I'm a big soca fan. I'm from Trinidad, so I love my soca music. So I will listen to soca all day long. Soca makes me
Nice.
happy. Soca gets me going. It just invigorates me and it energizes me. So I love my soca music. What I'm watching, honestly, I gotta do better. I haven't been watching too much TV, but I gotta binge on some Netflix because I've been kind of missing out on that. I've been working a lot. And in terms of reading, I actually I'm reading this book called Accountability Partner, where it's really about how to stay accountable for yourself and to others and learning how to take responsibility for your own actions. We tend to, blame people around us in the environment for the things that happen to us. But it's really about being aware in the moment and taking responsibility to know that you have to change your mindset. The people around you don't have to change, you have to change. So it's an interesting.
Yeah. Whenever we are talking about books, how do you feel on reading books versus listening to books, the audio books? Are you cool going either way? Do you like to just prefer to actually get page turners?
You know what? I used to love reading. Now it's just like it's so busy, and especially when the kids are here, and now I have to read their stuff. So I'm reading through the homework. I'm reading through their stories. So sometimes it's a little difficult to read. I listen to a lot of podcasts when I have the opportunity. I mean, I think podcasts are great too because they give you the opportunity to just hear it on the go when you're in the car and things like that. But I will say I got to do a better job of getting back into reading more because it's just been so crazy these days. And you got to put your energy where you actually want it to manifest, right?
Yeah.
That's the important thing.
Definitely.
You actually recognize that you need to change something. It's good that you recognize it. There's nothing wrong with falling off the bandwagon or doing something that you think that you're not doing the right way. But it's about recognizing that in that moment and saying, okay, you know what? I'm gonna make a change tomorrow. I'm gonna shift the way that my routine. I'm gonna shift the way that I'm thinking, and that's all fine. Nobody's perfect, and I think all too often we think that and we compare ourselves to others that we have to be like this, we have to be like that, but you just have to be you.
Is there any trick that you use, like a number one tool you use to keep yourself from comparing yourself to others?
You know what, Kendrick, honestly, I get up every morning and I just look at myself and I say, I am bold, I am beautiful, I am me, I am meant for this life, I am meant for greatness. And that's all that matters to me. I'm a content creator also on social media, so I know that what the effects are on social media, people can compare themselves. But I think for myself, I just look at my family and I'm blessed at what I have. And I think about the great things that I have in my life, and that's all that I need. I don't have to compare myself to anybody else because what I have is what I like to say is I'm perfectly flawed, and I love that. And I'm happy with that.
Perfectly flawed. Perfectly flawed. Okay. I dig that. Perfectly flawed. When it comes to reading, I'm not gonna lie, Queen. I almost have quit page turners. Now what I do is I play audiobooks all the time. My wife used to do it, and I used to make fun of her for not actually turning. Like, yo, you being lazy, girl. Get the book. And slowly, and what it is Clubhouse made it easy for me to start listening to audiobooks. Before Clubhouse, I didn't really jam any podcasts. I jammed one podcast, two podcasts. Bomani Jones, it was two sports podcasts. And after 2 years of club, like what is it, maybe a year and a half of Clubhouse, now I listen to audiobooks way more than I watch TV. Even whenever the wife and I are doing stuff, a lot of times we'll put the screen on like something like Seinfeld.
Right.
But I actually have a whole headset on listening to either Clubhouse or an audiobook or a podcast. She has an earbud in doing the exact same thing, and the kids will come in.
Right.
Why do y'all even have the TV on? I don't know. I guess just to have some light in the room. I don't know.
It's funny because I think a lot of people think that if you watch TV or if you do something for yourself, you're wasting time. You're not being productive. Let me just tell you right now, you need to take breaks. You need to do those things. I even hear people saying, you know, when you sleep, you should only sleep when you're dead. That you got to keep working. You got to keep working. No,
This is the
that's not what I
realest
believe
shit
in.
I will ask
Yes,
her,
I'm a
and it
workaholic,
came
but
out
I
of
think that
nowhere.
spending time with your family is so much more important. I think that taking the time, my husband and I just this weekend sat down. We actually watched Ray Donovan, the movie. So if anybody wants to watch it,
Ooh.
it was a great movie. I never watched the series, so we didn't really understand it, but the movie was really good. You know, and I think it's okay to take that time for yourself. I think it's okay to take those breaks. Don't ever feel like you're not being productive just because you're taking a break to watch some TV or go outside, play with the kids, take a walk, you know, do things for yourself. It's not only about work, 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 work. We have to maintain that balance.
Okay. The work, the balance, we got to maintain. Of course, I get that. Do you ever feel because of your condition that there is a clock over your head and that's what makes you go harder?
Yes, yes. I'm so glad you asked that because that is so true. I always tell everybody that's why sometimes I used to stay up till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, probably not get any rest just to get work done because I'm like, I don't know when that day's gonna be up. I don't know when my clock is gonna be up. And I don't want to think that, but you know what? When you have an illness like this, it's like it's almost impossible not to think that. We're only human. Those are the feelings that are gonna come up. But it's really about understanding that awareness in that moment. And that's why it's important to really do meditation so you can get the balance, so you can understand the balance of how the mind, body, and soul works, and just being aware and like, you know what? All of us have to leave this earth one day, not just me, not just you, but each and every one of us. We all have a timer on us, right? We just don't know
Yep.
what that timer is. And we just think that it's ours is coming up sooner because of what we're going through. But it's about not even thinking about that, but just experiencing every moment for what it is. So while I do think that, I've been trying my very best to, you know, not let that hold me back, not let that, you know, make me not want to do things with my family and spend time with them just because I want to work. Because at the end of the day, when I do leave this earth, I'm not taking any of that stuff with me. The only thing
True.
with me is my soul. So
True. True. Yeah, that clock, I tell my family and friends have a way of trying to tell me whenever I mention the clock that hey, it's not even what you have is not terminal. You're not gonna die.
right. Same
And
here.
the and it's
Yeah, man.
but to
Queen,
me
that clock fucks me hard.
that's not the greatest fear. To me, the greatest fear is being stuck somewhere like in a bed or something and unable to do any of the things you want to do. Like I don't like the worst fear to me is being that freaking vegetable. I don't want to be a vegetable. And that's that clock. I know it's not terminal,
Right.
but it almost makes you think. It makes me think a lot.
Right.
Which one is worse? Is it the terminal, or is it being somewhere where people are constantly having to take care of you and change you and everything else, and you can't even feed yourself? And yeah, that's
If your classes seem too energetic or the people that you take care of seem to be moving around so much and never finish watching the show, put those old school yoga bands on the chairs. Give the people something, give the kids something to move their legs with, to bounce their legs off of. It's quiet, it gives them something to do. They can expend the energy. At the same time, they'll be in one spot a whole lot safer.
okay. Let me get over that. Let me get back to something way more positive. Before we close out,
Yes.
give me a story of why you're grateful. You know how much I talk about, not the what. I want the story. What has happened that makes you start giggling or grinning or think to yourself, oh, God, dog, let me tell you about what this fool did or what she did or what has just happened. Something that takes your mind completely off the bullshit around you.
Why am I grateful? You know what? When I tell you something that this always comes to mind when you just said that. When my daughter, my firstborn daughter Vishana, when she was born, So my husband and I used to sleep downstairs in my living room on the floor, just because we, as for our culture, we just wanted her near us. We wanted her to sleep with us. So we spread this blanket and we slept on the floor. There was a couch on the side as well. So I remember we're all sleeping and we got up in the middle of the night. I couldn't find her. I didn't see her. My heart, Kendrick, was like going a million miles an hour. I was like screaming, "Where is my child? Where is my child?" I'm looking at my husband. I'm like, "Where is she? Where is she?" Do you know what happened? She kind of like, I guess, rolled under the couch, and she was sleeping under the couch like a baby. We had no idea. I know it sounds like a crazy story, but you know what? The thing about that is that how those moments can bring you back to like, life is so precious. And my kids mean everything to me. My family, my husband, I've known my husband for over 25 years. He's my soulmate. He's my pride, my joy, my ride or die. And being able to have a family with him and just going back to that moment, it's just like, it brings everything back. So when you said that, for some reason that came to my mind, because that was just one story we always laugh about. We couldn't find her, but she had rolled under the couch. And I'm like, oh, thank God, my daughter didn't get kidnapped.
That is freaking awesome. That is freaking awesome. I got the 4 kids, and my youngest is of the 4 kids, my youngest is the only daddy's baby. Like, no matter what, she's gonna rock and roll with me. She doesn't remember me walking, anything like that. All she pretty much remembers is daddy always needing stuff. But the story is that it was one day I was in the bathroom, and I mean, since she was maybe 2, and while I was in the bathroom, she had got up out the bed and she knocked on the door and just went ahead and just left the apartment. She actually walked out the apartment, and the other kids came, "Daddy, she left the apartment." And I'm in the bathroom just thinking, why don't one of y'all go get her then? Oh my God, why do I have to come off the bathroom to go get her? This is crazy. We can't leave without you. Oh man. Oh, that right there was crazy. That was the awful that was the awful little boy.
Those are the moments,
Man.
now you look back,
Yep.
oh my God, those are the moments you just gotta treasure. You really do.
That's what I call the wow stories. That right there. Those are the moments, those are the things when I write those things down and I keep them right here in the head, that keeps all of the bullshit away just a little bit, so I can shake and bake and do my thing and dip and dive and get whatever needs to be done. So yeah, that's exactly how it works. Yeah. 1,000 thank yous for that story right there.
Sure.
Well, Queen, before we get ready to close this thing out, because we're all going to close this thing out, is there anything that you want to leave the audience with?
I would just say, live your life day by day and always make sure that you're enjoying every moment. Enjoy the laughter, laugh, smile, be kind to people around you, spread that joy, spread that inspiration. Always look at people around you and reach out to your loved ones and family. Don't forget about them. Reach out to people who you see that may need a helping hand. Because when you spread kindness and joy to others, that comes back to you in so many different ways. And don't expect anything back. Just always know to give with open hands and receive with open hands as well. And just embrace love, embrace kindness, embrace compassion. And I think that all is well once you begin.
I like that. When I was a school teacher, I had a wall of quotes that I always put the great philosophers and everything on there. And I taught character education. So the kids are always blown away that one of the great philosophers I had on the wall was Cat Williams. And one of his philosophical lines that on the wall was, "I don't care what happens, you better get your 7 laughs in today. No matter how hard it's going for you, you better get getting your 7 laughs is on you. Like, I don't care how bad it is, you must laugh 7 times today." We would spend Mondays and different days, and I would ask the kids, like, "Yo, today, put your books up. What had you laughing?" And now from there, we were going around the classroom, and however awful it was, whatever crazy it was, what had you laughing? So we would just spend the day doing it. Yeah, that's it.
I love that.
That's it.
I love that. I agree. You just got to keep laughing, keep smiling.
Yep, that's it. Well, Queen, again, 1,000 thank yous for coming to the University of Gratitude. This is my 2nd interview since I've done this whole name change. It's like every 5 or 6 months, I end up changing the name of my podcast. It started out two of us, then went to three of us. They came down to just me. And then even though it's just me, I change it every like, maybe 6 or 7 months. But I really believe the University of Gratitude, I don't think I'm gonna change it anymore. It's gone from mindset of a bullshit, agency of gratitude, all kinds of stuff.
I love it.
University of Gratitude, yeah, that's gonna be it. I'm the professor of gratitude with that gratitude journal. So,
well, I gotta say,
1,000
thank you for the opportunity. I'm blessed, and I'm full of gratitude that you even thought about me to be on this beautiful podcast. So thank you so much. It's an honor.
No problem. I had to bring you here, and I'm going to bring you back. I'm going to, especially after this doggone global event that you're having in October. I'm going to bring you back.
Definitely.
Yep. So good people, I thank y'all for rocking with us. I'm gonna get ready to close this thing out. Y'all be pretty. Stay grateful. I salute each and every last one of you. The Queen and I are out.
Bye, everyone.
It is time to stop waiting on somebody else to teach you, to make you, to motivate you, to inspire you to be a better person. You can do it yourself by picking up a gratitude journal and writing down why you're grateful every single day. That will cost you nothing. There's no complaining about prices. There's no complaining about who's available. There's no complaining about if they are compatible with you. Get yourself a gratitude journal. Start writing this stuff out. Take the steps to be better. You.